Medieval Misadventures, Episode 28, How I Got to Train Heaven. And so after I knocked Freedom off the track and into the slack, I went onto a track close to the edge to look down, but the track unfortunately broke underneath me and I fell down the hill. Oh no! What happened after that? Well, moments later, Taylor and Lena rode up to the edge, and then they, along with Boxer, fell off the edge too. What happened? Did they dive off the edge to save you? No, I was listening to music, I had my eyes closed, wasn't watching where I was going, and bumped into them and pushed them off the edge, and they dragged me down with them. Well, that wasn't very clever now, was it? Yeah, what she said. Well, no, it wasn't. Taylor and Lena bumped into Scaredy when he stopped by the edge of a slope, and then that was what made Scaredy fall into the slack. And then I bumped into Taylor and Lena and we all fell in the slack too. Crimson and Fiona looked at each other and rolled their eyes. Now kids, said Scaredy, it was just an accident. It's not like they did it on purpose. And well, you know, if they hadn't come to Train Heaven with me, I don't know if I possibly would have been able to make it out without their help. So things had a way of working out when they came to Train Heaven with me. I guess you're right, said Fiona. Yeah, I agree. He's right, said Crimson. Just then, Casey Jr. popped into the yard. He had had a long day of work and was looking forward to a well-earned rest. Howdy, y'all, he said. What's going on here? Oh, nothing much, said Scaredy. Boxer and I were just telling my kids the story of how we got to Train Heaven. Whoa, what? Really? That's a little dark for a kid's story, said Casey. Oh, we don't mind, said Fiona. Yeah, said Crimson. If we hear the story of how they died, then we can know if they died a hero, or if they died because they were attacked by a bad guy, or if they, well, died doing something silly. No offense, Boxer. None taken, said Boxer. Hey Casey, said Scaredy, why don't you tell them the story of how you got to Train Heaven? Well, I suppose I could, said Casey. Alright then. Well, it all started when I was working in the, what was it? I think it was a kingdom close to the Solar Kingdom. Wasn't the mainland kingdom, but it was like the Kingdom of Brighton, I believe. One day, I was waiting for a goods train to be shunted for me. The train that I was pulling had some explosives in it. The engine that was shunting my train was being rather rough. Be gentle, I said. These are explosives after all. We don't need you blowing up the yard. Yeah, said the engine. Now go get the brake van and then couple it on carefully so I can be on my way. Alright, said the engine. He began to back up, but then he noticed a couple of other cars and a siding next to me. He decided to do something naughty. The shunting engine collected the brake van first, but before he coupled it onto my cars, he collected the extra cars and coupled them onto the back of the train. You're good to go, Casey Jr., he called, and he puffed away. Thank you very much, I called, and I puffed away, not realizing my train was twice as long as it was supposed to be. with that many cars. Hopefully Casey will lose control of the train and have an accident on a hill or something. I started making my way along a high mountain track. As I approached the junction, I noticed something in the distance. It was a runaway train heading straight for me. Luckily, there was an empty siding right by the junction. I knew it would be big enough to hold me and my train. But it wasn't until I popped into the siding and stopped by the buffers that I noticed that there were 2 extra cars on the back of the train. Therefore, the train was sticking out on the points. A collision was unavoidable. The runaway truck smashed into the last car and the brake van. And the trucks plunged over the edge of the cliff, taking a large hopper car that was on the flatbeds with them. But the trouble wasn't over yet. My brake van was dangling over the edge, and it began to slide off, and the couplings began to pull the rest of the train off the cliff with it. The brake van fell to the ground first, then the extra trucks. Then my trucks of explosives fell. And last but not least, me. Wow, that must have been terrifying, said Crimson. Yes, it was, said Casey. But when I got to train heaven, I was in good company with Jamie, Tara, and Raven. Okay, said Fiona. Well, that was a good story. I'd like to hear another story of how someone got to train heaven. Just then, down the line came Handy, the aquarium car. I'll tell you my story on how I got to train heaven, he said. One day, I was on a train full of aquarium cars, and we were on our way to an aquarium show in a wild western kingdom called Bushfire. This is where Wesley, the boxcar, came from. The engine pulling the train had stopped at a red signal, but he had never been to Bushfire before and didn't know that engines were supposed to stop before the double crossfit track when there was a red signal. The engine that was pushing Wesley was supposed to be passing through, and he accidentally pushed Wesley into the side of the train. Thankfully, the engine stopped before there was a major derailment, and a good thing too. We were on a track near a small slope that went towards a deep river. The engine was about to back up and pull Wesley back on the rails. But as he did so, he noticed the huge, mean-looking shark in the aquarium car at the back of the train. The ferocious-looking shark frightened the engine so much that he accidentally went forward and pushed Wesley into me, and the two of us fell down the slope and plunged into the deep river. Oh, you blockhead! Who's a blockhead? You are. No, I'm not. You are. What did I do? You stopped on the double crossfit track. Here in Bushfire, we stopped before the double crossfit track. Well, how was I supposed to know that? And that's how I got to train heaven. And same for Wesley. Wow, so you told the story of your death and Wesley's. That was a nice little bonus, I guess. Just then, out of the nearby subway tunnel came Eduardo, followed by Messi, Lizzie, and Cricket. Evening, everyone, said Eduardo. I couldn't help but overhear some of you talking about your train heaven stories, and I thought we might join in. Did you ever go to train heaven, Eduardo? No, but these guys did. How did that happen? Asked Fiona. Yeah, it was all caused by a stupid engine who didn't even have a name, just a number, said Cricket. One day, 16 was working in a lead mine with some of his friends. Mighty Mac and Eagle watched as 16 pushed his trucks up to where he was supposed to stop. There was a danger sign that said engines must not pass this board. The track beyond the sign was unstable, or at least the ground underneath it was. There were mine tunnels underneath, and therefore the ground could not hold the weight of engines, but it could handle the weight of trucks. Cricket, Messy, and Lizzie were passing through the tunnel that was underneath the track at the time, and they had stopped right underneath it to rest. Without any warning, 16 began to move forward. 16, said Eagle, don't even think of going past the danger sign. Oh, don't worry, I wasn't thinking of going past it, said 16. Of course he wasn't, said the truck in front of him. He always does everything without thinking. Ow! Hey! That's far enough, 16, said Mac. Yeah, said Mighty. You've already gone past the danger sign once and rolled cab over wheels. We don't need you making the same mistake again. There are no slopes near here, so I won't roll cab over wheels, said 16. That's right, you won't, said Eagle. You'll fall into a mine instead. Oh, don't be such a chicken, Eagle, said 16, and he continued to move past the danger sign. 16, no, said Mighty Mac, and they chased after him. But it was too late. Ah! And the two engines, or would it rather be three engines? 2.5, let's just say. The 2.5 engines fell into the mine and flattened all the trucks that had either fallen in with them or were already in the mine. Oh, brother, said Eagle. I better go and get some help. So that's how it happened, huh? Well, that wasn't very smart of that engine with just a number. No, it wasn't. It was so stupid of him. You'd think he'd learned from his past mistake, but I guess not. If I ever see him again, I'm gonna give him a piece of my mind. Now, Cricket, let's not get mad over something that happened a long time ago. We're here to enjoy each other's company and have a good time telling stories. Just then, Leyland rolled up. I assume all are welcome to join in with this storytelling of how someone got to train heaven, he said. Sure, said Casey. The more stories, the merrier, I guess. Okay, said Leyland. Well, I did tell you kids how I got my scar, right? Yes, said Crimson Fiona. Well, not long after that was when I died. Here's how it happened. I was on a goods train that was being pulled towards a big hill. I was still feeling terrible after what I had done that had made my friend mad. But as the engine came over the top of the hill and around the bend, a coupling broke. But I was feeling so ashamed that I was completely oblivious to the fact that we were going backwards at a very fast speed. We took the wrong track and went down a siding. The siding led to a factory, and there were some fuel tankers at the end of the line. I ran into them with a crash, and I was blown to smithereens. Wow, that's awful, said Cricket. It was awful, said Leyland. Casey and the trucks were silent for a while. Just then, Tex and Clark rolled up. "Hello, everyone," said Tex. "Might we join in with everyone else telling stories of how we got to train heaven?" asked Clark. "Of course," said Casey. "Go right ahead." "Okay," said Tex. Well, it started out like this. Clark and I were built in a factory. Well, all trucks are built in factories, obviously. But anyways, we were built in the factory, but once we were completed, we were left in there for a while. We didn't know when we were going to come out and be put on a goods train. We decided to take a nap until we were taken out. Before I closed my eyes, I looked out the window and saw that there were some fuel tankers on the track outside the factory. I had just gone to sleep for a few seconds when suddenly the factory caught fire and we were burned alive in there, said Clark. "Oh my goodness, for you two in that factory? I'm so sorry. I didn't mean to kill you guys." "It's alright," said Tex. "It was just a accident, we know." "Yes, but if I'd been paying attention, I would have tried to slow the train down so we wouldn't have crashed. And therefore we wouldn't have killed you guys." "It's quite alright," said Clark. "It was just an accident, like Tex said. We're all out of train heaven now, so it really doesn't matter. Now